Steel isn't forged in comfort. It is shaped by fire, tempered by pressure, and strengthened through adversity. The same can be said for champions. Every coach standing here today begins the same way. 1-star prestige, limited resources, a program waiting for someone to believe. No shortcuts, no guarantees, only opportunity. Tonight, the forge burns and the journey begins. Welcome to the Legacy Forge. Welcome, everyone, to the very first episode of the Legacy Forge, the official podcast of the Legacy Gridiron League. I'm your host, Razor, aka Burly Dad, and tonight marks the beginning of something special. The team draft is behind us. Every coach now has a program to call home. The talking, the speculation, the excitement, it all becomes reality beginning now. Over the next hour, we'll break down everything happening around the league, including our very first in-season LGL Power Rankings. We'll look at some conference outlooks, coaches to watch, recruiting storylines, and much more. Let's get it started. Well, that's nice. Get an update right in the middle. How's everyone doing tonight? Let's see how many people we got out there. We got 5 viewers. A little disappointed. I figured we'd get a little bit more than 5. At least half of our league should be in here, I would think. But I digress. So let's move on. Let's start with some of the biggest headlines from the team selection. We talked about it in the last draft, but there were quite a few teams that some people were really lucky to land. And we're gonna go through and take a look at conference standings first, and talk about some of those teams that pretty much got lucky. First year, I mean, we've talked about this. First year, it's a crapshoot. We're all in the same boat. We don't know who we're gonna have or what we're gonna end up with, and you gotta take the hand that you were dealt with, right? And there's actually a couple good teams that got left out that didn't get actually picked on a team, or weren't assigned to a user, I should say. And probably the biggest one that I saw that I would have loved to have was actually the last user that just joined. He got the lucky fortune of landing Nevada. And if anyone's been paying attention, Nevada, I do not like the way they set this up now. I used to like the whole, I mean, I get having the conference at the front, but I just don't like that. I like having the overall at the front and the conference second. But and as you can see, Nevada just won this week and is now 4-0, and has been shooting up the power rankings after the preseason. And it looks like this one's gonna come down to a good one. And it looks like Wyoming lost their first game. They were 3-0 and they lost their first game. So right now, Nevada and Wyoming in the Mountain West seem to have a little bit of a stranglehold on that. New Mexico started hot. Looks like they've lost. I don't know if that's 2 in a row. Let's see here. Yep, 2 in a row. They started off 2-0 and now they're 2-2. And in Northern Illinois at 2-2 and UTEP at 1-2, so they probably haven't gotten their game in yet this week. But Wyoming and Nevada are starting to make headway over there in the Mountain West. And look at North Dakota State, first year in the FCS FBS from the FCS, and they're currently 4-0. That was a team that I'm a little shocked at how good they are in game, but it looks like they are playing as well as advertised. So makes some sense there. And then you got UNLV that's down here at 2-1, and San Jose at 2-1. They're usually pretty good teams. UNLV's here to 75 overall. So it looks like offensive coordinator Michael Irvin and offensive coordinator Mr. Bell. I can't think of his first name right now. Kenny Bell. Seem to be doing pretty good over there in the Mountain West. And it'll be interesting to see. Actually, I want to see when do these guys play each other? Or do they play each other? Oh, they do not. So that could be very interesting down the road here with Nevada does play North Carolina State here in a couple, or North Dakota State here in a couple weeks. So that should be a good game. Put that on your calendar. It'll probably be a good game to watch. I'm sure there will be a game of the week coming out for that. So there's the Mountain West, and Wyoming was currently, we'll get to the power rankings in a little bit. If you haven't seen them yet, they're posted on the Discord, but Wyoming was number 1 coming into this week, and I think Nevada might have been number 3. But they're both doing very well and sitting on top of the Mountain West. Congratulations, gentlemen. Let's jump over to the Sun Belt, and we'll actually go by division here. I understand if anyone's frustrated with the whole division system, but I think SBC is going to keep that going for a while, so we're going to do the same thing too. So unfortunately, we're split up pretty good. I think we're 4 and 5, so we got enough users split up into the 2 divisions that I think that works out for the better. So let's jump in here. So who's Coastal Carolina just keeps on winning. Offensive coordinator Odell Beckham Jr. Taking over the reins there of the offense in Coastal Carolina, and has them at 4-0 on the season. And Georgia Southern at a 3-0 here, and Old Dominion at 3-1, App State 2-1, Georgia State 2-2, Marshall 2-2, and James Madison, surprisingly, way at the bottom here at 1-3. That's very interesting to say the least. James Madison, if you remember, was actually in real life was in the college football playoff last year. I'm surprised to see them take that much of a falling game. I figured they would have been a little bit better. They've been struggling so far. So yeah, so there's the standings for the Sun Belt East. Looks like it, well, obviously, Georgia State started hot, cooled off a little bit. Marshall started hot, he's cooled off. Andy Dalton over there in Old Dominion got slaughtered by Virginia Tech, but other than that has won all their other games. So they're doing well. And Coastal is so far just holding the top spot there. And I think this is going to be a little bit of a barn burner moving down. So let's go over to the Sun Belt West. We got South Alabama. Is that 2-1? Actually having a hard time seeing this. Sure looks like it. So we got South Alabama 2-1. We got Arkansas State at 2-2. Louisiana Raging Cajuns at 2-2. Louisiana Tech at 1-2. That's surprising. Southern Miss at 1-3. Troy at 1-3, and UL Monroe rounding out the cellar at 0-4. So it looks like this conference, or this division, I should say, is really up for grabs. Except for maybe UL Monroe. If Southern Miss or Troy can figure something out here, they might be able to swing it around and still make a run at this, because it looks like nobody's really pulling away from it yet. So that's the Sun Belt West. And we'll jump over here to Conference USA. We got some big hitters in here right now. As you can see, actually almost all 5 of the top 6 spots are users. So Conference USA is looking like it's going to be a barn burner as well. And with conference kicking off here, there's going to be some of these are going to be some real big matchups coming. Yep, it's going to be very interesting to see. So we got New Mexico State right now at 3-1, top the conference. Missouri State at 3-2, just took a lump on the chin to a ranked SMU team. We have Sam Houston at 2-2, Western Kentucky 2-2, Jacksonville State 2-3, Kennesaw State 2-3. And then at the bottom, we got Liberty, Delaware, Florida International, and Middle Tennessee. So this one's going to be very interesting, and there's going to be a lot of games here. So New Mexico's got a little bit of the advantage right now by a half game. I don't think they've played this week. They have. They beat New Mexico. That was a good win. New Mexico's got a pretty good team. So you got Sam Houston next week, Jacksonville State week 8, and Missouri State in week 11. So no Kennesaw State though. Nope, no Kennesaw State. So 3 user games here in the next 8 weeks should give us a better understanding of how this conference is going to shape up. But I would say if I had a pick here, I'm thinking that we're going to have a user in a conference championship here, the way it's looking so far. I know it's early, but I have a feeling that there's definitely going to be a user in the conference championship game and maybe a conference champion out of here. That'd be pretty interesting to see. Awesome. And last but not least, we will stop in at the MAC. And in the MAC, we got UMass up on top, 3-1 overall record, but 0-1 in conference. They lost their first game, and it was a conference game. So the Minutemen are trying to do something that I'm not quite sure would happen in real life, actually, because they were terrible last year. If anybody knows college football, they were probably the worst team in all of college football. But Mr. Michael Vick has the offense rolling over there in UMass, and it looks like their defense is playing spectacular, with only giving up 41 points on the season so far in 4 games. That's pretty good. So you got UMass, you got Ball State 2-1, Sacramento State 3-2, and then Western Michigan, who looks like they've taken a little bit of a dip after beating and knocking off the Michigan Wolverines at home. And it looks like they've fallen now to 2-2 and maybe are on a little bit of a slide. So not sure what's happening over there. Maybe an injury, maybe not. Maybe just coming back down to life. We got Akron at 1-2, Buffalo at 1-2, Ohio 1-2, Bowling Green 1-3, and Eastern Michigan at a struggling 1-4 at the bottom of the MAC currently. So if Mr. Vick keep the offense humming over there at UMass, maybe they got a shot. But being at 0-1 in conference, that might I mean, it's one game. Just make sure you win the rest, right, Superfly? My guess is Western Michigan. I don't know about Buffalo. I feel Buffalo's a little bit of a pretender. Ohio, possibly. And Bowling Green and Eastern Michigan have a lot of work to do to get back in the mix on this one. So there we are with the conference standings as they sit here in week 4 of the LGL. Let's back out now and take a look at our power rankings that just came out. So as you can see, this was through week 3. So it does not include our games from this week. So the way I've seen things develop this week, it looks like there might be a little bit of a shakeup coming next power rankings too. But we had a lot, and I mean, let's be real here. It was real hard to come up with power rankings based on not knowing really anything besides the teams that we have. So just through my research, the preseason rankings were pretty much, and I do this a lot, preseason rankings are usually based off of in-game rankings. The in-game rankings aren't accurate sometimes, but they give you a pretty good idea on teams and, you know, overalls and stuff like that. It really doesn't take in schedules and in teams and who they're playing and stuff like that. And I try to take that into effect too, but sometimes it's a lot. But Wyoming gets the number 1 spot this week. They were 3-0. They moved up from number 6 with a 5 rank jump and took the number 1 spot in the week 3 power rankings. And then we have Western Michigan in at number 2, up 3 at 2-1. The Nevada Wolfpack at 3-0, moving up to number 3 from unranked. We have the Coastal Carolina Chanticleers moving up to number 4 at 3-0 from being unranked. UMass jumping up to number 5, being 3-0, moving up from unranked. And Old Dominion moving up 1 to number 6 with a 2-1 record. Number 7 is the Missouri State Bears with 3-1 record, moving up from unranked. And number 8 is the New Mexico Lobos, who moved up 2 spots from number 10 with a 2-1 record. And Georgia State getting onto the board at number 9, moving up from unranked to 2-1. And New Mexico State rounding out the top 10 at 2-1 and unranked. Moving up from unranked, my bad. Well, the biggest riser in the weekly polls was Nevada, who moved up 7. And the biggest faller was Jacksonville State, who went from number 1 to off the board. Shame. I'm surprised it took 3 weeks to fall that far, but I guess anything can happen. But you got to win games to stay on the board, right? Silence. Yeah. Okay. That's why I get to have the mic. I get to push the button on this one, so sorry. But I'll just tell you how it is. And game of the week, which I believe has not, I don't think it's been played yet. Maybe it has been. It's Kennesaw State versus Arkansas State, week 4 game. I would assume it might be being played now, for all I know. So those are the power rankings through week 3 of season 1 of the LGL. Congratulations to all the teams that have made it on here. You should feel proud of yourselves. Excuse me. But this is I'm going to be pumping these out more this year. As you can see, I'm going to get back to the every 3 week power rankings to jazz it up and give us something to talk about in the podcast. And while mentioning that, the podcast is going to be run every Thursday night at 8 o'clock, if that works for you guys. If you guys think there's another time or another day that works better, hey, let me know. We can always reschedule it, but this time works for me. I'm not saying another time wouldn't, but I wanted to get this started, and right now was a good time to get it in, so I kind of felt like we'd just do it every Thursday from on here on out, so then it's on a regular date and time, so that everyone can try to schedule around it if they would like to partake. One of the other big things I wanted to announce about the podcast is, yes, this week I am solo, but I will be bringing in special guests to help with everything. And I will be bringing in coaches and giving interviews, and we're going to jazz it up and make it special. So it's not, you don't have to just listen to me every week in and week out. I won't do that to you guys. I'm not that kind of person. I don't want to make you suffer. So there we are with the power rankings. That is and like, you know, kind of like I said before, this is these rankings, it's a starting point. It just gives, you know, and I know there's gonna be somebody out there, someone's looking at the list and they're like, oh, we're too low. Good, go prove it. That's all I got to say to you guys. So we went through the conferences. I'd have to say the one thing, you know, let's jump back to those. I kind of want to take a look at and see what teams looking. I wanted to look at team stats and just see what kind of teams we're seeing in here. If we got anybody in the like top tens. It's going to be all the big boys, obviously. Who's the first user team? Let's take a look. Who's the first user team with points per game? Anyone have a guess? It's way down here. Ohio at 29.3. Wow. And a 1-2 record. So obviously points. Oh, and look at that. Number 2, Old Dominion. 28. Mr. System himself. And Nevada, which makes sense, being them 4-0, coming in at 27.5, and then UMass and Wyoming. So guess what, guys? Besides Ohio, I see lots of wins up here for the user teams with the most points per game offensively. Go figure. So I would try to get right the ship on your offenses, boys. Let's go yards per game. I highly doubt we're going to be... It's probably going to be pretty far down. You know, the one thing I wish they did on here is they put a ranking column so you could kind of know. Old Dominion coming in at 419.8 yards per game on offense. Kennesaw State coming in at 417.2. I'm sorry, I can't remember who your coach is. I'll get there. Give me this season and I'll know exactly who everyone's coach is. Calvin Johnson, that's right. How could I forget that? Calvin Johnson, offensive coordinator at Kennesaw State, racking up some big offense. And then we got Ohio and Jay Cutler, 409.7. I'm seeing some usual suspects up here. And then Coastal Carolina and Mr. Odell Beckham coming in at 391.3. So what's the passing yards per game? What do we got here? Western Michigan, 303.3. Ohio at 265.3, Coastal at 264.3, Marshall at 253.8, and Old Dominion at 237.5. Is there anybody in here for, oops, wrong button. Hate it when I do that. Anybody in the top for touchdowns? No, not really. I'm not surprised. It seems to me they've nerfed passing a little bit. Western Michigan with 8. That's not bad through 4 weeks. Rushing. Now, yeah, I don't know what that update did. The first update, not the update that dropped today. We'll see how that one plays out. But the update that they did last week, I don't know what it did, but rushing seems to be a little OP right now. We're talking about it. We're probably We're gonna let it play out year one, and I don't be shocked, guys, to see a little bit of a slider change there for run blocking. Not quite sure why the running. I mean, it's weird too because it doesn't happen every game. It'll happen like one game and it's just astronomical, and then the next game it's nothing. So I'm not quite sure. We're gonna see how that plays out. Maybe it evens itself out over the year, but I see 5 teams in the top 7, so I'm guessing that might not be the case. Not quite sure why that is, but that's what it is. So that's why UMass is doing well, and well, Calvin Johnson's just got everything flowing. He's one of the top users in passing and one of the top users in rushing as well. Wow. Here we go. Let's jump over to the defense, see if we got anybody. UMass 10.3. I don't think Mike Vick is coaching defense, but maybe he is. We got Nevada and Michael Irvin. He's not coaching defense. Coastal, Odell Beckham, not coaching defense. Northern Illinois is who's Northern Illinois? Kirk Herbstreit. He's not coaching defense. So the top 5 defenses for users. Oh, here we go. We finally got one. Buffalo and Khalil Mack. There we go. 19 points per game. That's good to see. Yards. So we got few users here on the bad end of defensive yards per game, but we got Coastal 241 per game. I gotta look. I haven't looked at Coastal's who's they've played. Oh, you can't. That's right. You could look at team schedule from here, but you can't. Northern Illinois is up there. Oh, Louisiana, haven't seen you. You're up here for yards per game. Who's Louisiana coach? Earl Thomas, another defensive coach. Very good. Earl. Sam Houston has defensive coordinator Vernon Golston, and he's up there. We saw UMass and then Jacksonville State. Bowling Green is Tommy Frazier, Andy Dalton. So we got a couple defensive coordinators up here doing decent for some of the user teams, so that's good to see. But yeah, it seems that right now defense is in a pretty good spot. Last year we used to see user defenses just flooding the top of the boards with everything in here, so it's good to see. Well, we do have some tops here on passing, I guess. We got 4 teams in the top 7 against the pass. That's interesting. We'll take a look at some more of this. What about rushing? Yeah. Seems like rushing defense is slacking a little bit, but New Mexico State's doing good against the rush. It looks like they're giving up a lot against the pass. So, but they've been winning, so maybe the other teams are having to pass it and not run it because they're down all the time. Same thing with Wyoming. It tends to happen when you're winning games. So there we go. There's a look at some of the team performances and rankings where they're sitting amongst the stats. We'll go look at the penalties here just because, yeah. Oh, look at that. Central Michigan only has 2. How about that? So if any of you realize, we had a little bit of a conversation in the Discord lobby about penalties, and face mask was the one that was getting brought up the most, or the one that got, I think, brought up with a focus on. And as like I said in chat, we're gonna let it play out here for a while and see how it rolls out. I don't want to be reactive too quickly, because things tend to balance themselves out. And with them dropping an update last week and now an update this week, sometimes it tends to be better to wait a little bit here I don't think there's anything with the penalties that's game breaking yet. So the only thing that was game breaking for me was the defensive pass interferences being called so much on 50-50 balls at the end of the half and at the end of the game. So I did turn that slider down, the defensive pass interference, just to alleviate that, because I don't want that affecting a game outcome in a bad light. I think it's a glitch. I think there's something, it's bugged, because I saw 3 Hail Marys in a row get defensive pass interference called, and then the team kicked a field goal at the end of half. They were all untimed downs, because, oh, I shouldn't say that. The first one wasn't. The first one was during regulation, but the other 2 were untimed downs, and they gained 45 yards in defensive pass interferences and kicked a field goal and made it. I don't want to see that happening in game. And it seems to be, I witnessed it more than once, and after I saw it twice, I figured, yeah, we gotta tamp that down. So I turned down the pass interference a little bit, and hopefully that alleviates it. Because that's the thing with this too, is like I was talking before, if you have 50 and 51, for some reason there can be a very big difference between the 2 of them. You can have it at 50 and absolutely nothing gets called game after game, and you can put it to 51 and then it'll be 2 to 3 times a game. You know, it's hit or miss. I don't understand why that is. You know, if we have to, I don't have a problem dropping it down to 50. But I just want to make sure that penalties are called in game. I mean, it's part of the game. We're not getting rid of them. I don't think they're that terrible right now. As you can see, if you look on here, look at all the user teams. I mean, 5 games, 5 penalties in 5 games. I mean, what's here? Let's look. What's the worst? What's the worst we got here for a user? Yeah, it's like, look at all the user teams. Ooh, Ohio. And the other thing you guys have to understand too is you can complain about penalties, but if you have your aggressiveness cranked to 100 or 99, you will get more penalties. That's how it works. So if you're running high aggressiveness on defense and you're getting a lot of penalties, that's why you just turn it down. That's why I said that's why, like, for me, I never run my defensive that high. Never. I've had bad experiences with it, so I just don't do it. And that's why I'm probably not, I've only seen 1 face mask in 5 games. It's just, those are things you have to understand, that it's not always the sliders. It's also some of the things you're doing on your end, whether it's with playbooks, or with aggressiveness, or with the other one. And I don't know where I see a lot of talk in chat about adaptive AI, and I don't have a 100% proof that I shouldn't say correct, because I've done this for my research to find out from others. But I think a lot of us, and maybe me included, I don't think none of us really understand what that does and what it is. From everything that I have researched, that is actually for the CPU. It is not for your team. So if you go to adaptive AI and you put it on clock and cushion, for example, or is it clock and cushion? Yeah, clock and cushion. That doesn't mean your offense is going to drain the clock. That's not how it works. What it does is, if you put it on clock and cushion, it's supposed to affect the CPU on how they play against you. Meaning, if you put it on clock and cushion, the CPU is going to milk the clock and try to do that against you. So it was, as far as I know, it's a feature for CPU versus user gameplay, not for simulation. So I don't even know if it does anything in our games, to be honest with you. I mean, because I've walked into game, I've gone a whole season, right, of not changing that thing and leaving it where it was, and I still have different outcomes and different ways that the CPU plays the user's team and the CPU team in a game. So I'm not quite sure. I'm not sold on anything yet, but that's just one of the things that I thought I wanted to throw out there. And if you guys want to go and do some research and see if you can find something out about it, I think that'd be great, because there's really not much out there, because EA doesn't tell you what it does. They've like literally have not told us what it really does. There's some stuff in there that tells you what each setting means, but they don't really tell you gameplay wise what it's doing and how it's affecting, if it's affecting you, if it's affecting CPU, what's it doing. So just wanted to throw that out there and share that with everybody. What do we got here? Average Dad, thanks for all the posts in chat. I wish there was more you wish we had a little bit more chatter in there. I can see we only got 3 viewers as well, so that might be part of the problem. So let's take a look. I want to see, we're going to do a little bit of a recruiting check here. Don't look at my stuff. Don't look at my stuff. I see. Don't look. Close your eyes. I should just turn it off right now, shouldn't I? Because I know you're going to look. Don't look at my board. Let's go top classes. I want to see if there's any users, signees yet. I don't think there is, which I'm not shocked by. Oh, well, nope, that's Liberty. So Liberty's got 1. Toledo 1. Miami SAC. Nope, no users there. Air Force. Nope, no users there. Sunbelt, you got something, Sunbelt? App, Georgia Southern. Southern Miss, we got to commit. Not bad. What are we, week 4? Week 4, and we have 1 commit. Henry Crumpler, quarterback. Wow, look at that. Southern Miss is on the move. They got a quarterback in already. How about that? He's ranked 1651 in the nation, 102 at the position, and he gave him a big 5 NIL. Look at that. So we got 1 recruit in 4 weeks. Interesting. Nobody wants to know what you're doing with those, Mr. Mike. Wow. Yeah, this whole recruiting thing, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I really don't know if I know what I'm doing. I really don't. It's gonna be interesting. I'm a little bit nervous to see what the hell's gonna go on this season and what I end up with at the end. If I'm gonna have, I have a sneaky suspicion I'm gonna end up with like 5 or 6 guys. I don't know. It is really hard to figure out when you only have like, I think I have 300 recruiting hours, so there's really not that much you can do with that little of recruiting hours. So anybody who figures that one out, you're gonna probably have a big lead on everybody else in this group. So congratulations if you can figure that out. Maybe Mr. Southern Miss here has figured it out. So there we go. I'm not going to show you my blueprint. Is there anything else? Anything else? Anybody in chat? You got anything else you want to look at? You know, I haven't even really been paying attention to anybody, to be honest with you. So what do we got here? So Texas is number 1. We got Texas, Miami, Oregon, Ole Miss, Indiana, BYU, Ohio State, USC, Notre Dame, Texas Tech. Do we have any? No. All P4s. There's no surprises in there. No surprises in there at all. Interesting. So there we got. Do we have any? So I don't think. I'm pretty sure there's nobody in the Heisman watch, but I could be wrong. No. Your usual suspects. We got Mark Fletcher, Arch Manning, Devon Dampier, and Dante Moore. Big shockers. So that's pretty much cookie cutter there. And yeah, I don't think there's anything else I can think of that we can look at this week. Not sure. I don't think I... Yep. Thank you for the comment, Average Dad. I appreciate it. I'm just happy to get this finally up and running. I've been trying to put together a streaming platform that I could do off of Xbox, and I finally got it up and running, and I'm very happy about it. And I hope that you guys can hear me this week. I forgot to mention that. I know the stream, like I said, I didn't get much time to work on the team selection podcast that I ran a couple, what was that, last weekend? And I didn't get to test a lot of stuff and this and that, so it was kind of just whipped together, and I felt bad, but I wanted to get it out and done, and I didn't want it to be completely crap, so I did as much as I could. Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to test a lot of things. So, if you let me know in chat, is the voice good, or does it still sound like I'm far away? Because I did a lot with the audio, and I think I got it working. Okay, good. Good to know. Thank you for that, guys. I'm glad it's way better. I actually did some research again, because the first time I had set it up, I had changed stuff, so, and I didn't really realize what I had changed, unfortunately. So let's end this segment here with some bold predictions. Let's jump back into the conference standings here. Let's make some bold predictions. Way too early to tell predictions. Conference USA. So we got 3 users that are 1-0 already in conference. And the other 2 don't have even a game in. Conference USA, you know, I'd be biased if I said Missouri State, so I'm not going to say them. Because to be honest with you, I feel like we've gotten a little lucky so far. Even though our 2 losses are against 2 ranked teams. I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I'm going to say IA over in Kennesaw State just worries me all the time. So if I had to pick a team out of this right now, I would probably go with Kennesaw. We saw last year what Chef did with them. I think they got a good team coming in. I think he's got a few good players I've seen in the stat lines. So if I had to put money on it, Kennesaw would be my pick from the Conference USA. The MAC, I'm gonna go. You know, it's really between, as far as I'm concerned, it's between UMass and Western Michigan, and I'm gonna go Western Michigan on this one. Sorry about that, Superfly, but it's UMass, man. I just can't see them doing it. I'm gonna go Western Michigan in the MAC. Mountain West, like I said before, I think it's gonna come down to Nevada and Wyoming, and I see Nevada taking it. Or when I say taking it, I really mean kind of doing the best out of the users. Doesn't mean that they're going to win the conference championship, but I think they have a very good shot of being there. And Sun Belt, let's do this. In the East, Coastal, I think, Scott. It's really between Coastal and Georgia State, I think, at this time. And I'm going to give the nod to Coastal. I just think they have a better roster. And on this side, I'm going to go with Louisiana to make a run here and take over all the users in the Sun Belt West. Whether they can make it to the conference championship, I don't know. I'm really shocked Louisiana Tech is doing so bad right now, 1-2. I mean, it is only 1-2. They could end up 10-2, but Louisiana Tech would be my pick of any team out of this conference. But I think Louisiana's going to be there at the end of the day. So yeah, so there you go. Those are my crystal ball predictions. You know, and I'm gonna throw one more out there. Here's my other my way out on a limb crystal ball prediction. My prediction is we are going to have one user team make it into the top 25 in the game. That team is going to be the Nevada Wolfpack. You've heard it here. Mark it down. Put it on your calendars that it was said, because when it happens, I'll be in chat to let you know. There's my prediction. And so what else do we have? Yep. I really don't have anything else unless you guys have anything in chat to cover. We're going to go with a little sign out here. So we got 25 coaches and 25 different journeys. But every one of them starts exactly the same. Nobody knows who will become a champion. Nobody knows whose rebuild will become a dynasty. That's what makes this league special. The road ahead won't be easy, and there will be heartbreak. There'll be upsets, missed opportunities, but there'll also be championship celebrations and unforgettable moments. But that's what Legacy is all about, because around here, legacy isn't given, it's built. I'm Razor with Burly Dad Gaming. Thank you for joining us for the very first edition of the Legacy Forge. We'll see you next week as the first chapter of another incredible season unfolds. Until then, keep forging your legacy.